Hey everybody, welcome back to The Boring Show. We've got a special little mini-series here on full stack Dart. And sitting with me, some of you may know, is Simon Lightfoot. Simon, would you care to introduce yourself?
I guess so. My name's Simon Lightfoot, CTO at Dev Angels London. And I've been doing Flutter since Alpha, so long time.
For a minute now.
Yeah, for a while. So hopefully I'm a bit versed in what we're doing. And you can follow me on Twitter at Dev Angels London.
Nice. Simon, very prolific in the Flutter community. Also, Hump Day Q&A.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So every Wednesday on YouTube, on the Flutter community YouTube channel, you'll find us answering everyone's questions, including yours. So if you have a question, join us on Hump Day.
Great. Well, so let's talk more about what we're setting out to do today. You pitched quite a while ago the idea of us working together on some full stack Dart. So we're talking WebSockets, real-time communication, and Dart on the back end. So a lot of folks use Cloud Firestore and different other Fire-based services, which are all great. But eventually, you got to write TypeScript.
Yeah, you kind of outgrow it. You end up going to that Cloud Functions route, and at the moment, it's JavaScript. So, it's nice to have your developers, especially if you're working with a team, be able to do vertical slices, right? So they go, we need to implement this API, we need to implement the screen, which requires this API. They can go ahead and do it all the way through and push out the new server code. And it's a lot easier than pushing it over the fence and having people in server and client side and juggling that back and forth.
Yeah. Now Dart is growing. Cloud's support, Google Cloud's support for Dart is growing kind of across the board. So this particular limitation, is kind of time limited, but also some people just want to use relational databases. And so there's a lot of reasons why you might want to roll your own entirely Dart backend. And that's what we're going to set out to do today. We're going to use Shelf, which is just kind of a low-level HTTP server. I guess it's really just a TCP server. Would you call it that?
I mean, I'd say Shelf probably sits on top of the HTTP stack in Dart, but it allows you to do request response, and it has that kind of, I forget the Node.js, Express.js? It's kind of like Express.js, that kind of sense that it gives you middleware accessibility to add middleware, add handlers, and kind of deal with APIs and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
it's certainly less robust on purpose than Express, but yeah, very much in that family. So why don't we describe what we are setting out to do? And this may span several episodes, so stay tuned. But we're thinking about some, like I said, real-time communication. So Flutter Create gives you the counter app, and everybody has their kind of spin on what feature do you add to the counter app to demonstrate the coolest thing ever. And we thought maybe just having a distributed, still real-time counter app. So instead of set state, just calling, just incrementing the variable. We might not even call set state.
I mean, it's a good starting point, right? So this is the aim of this is to get you looking at the Dart on the server side and seeing what you can do. And obviously the counter app, great start, and just something simple to begin with, and then you could take this onwards from there. I mean, it's a really good example of just managing state with a server.
Yep. And then one of the complications that we're going to have to get to is when you have a real-time communication, a real-time backend. One of the things that you want is, some event reaches your backend, it processes it, and it figures out which connected clients care about this. Because the whole point, not the whole point, a large percentage of the point of WebSockets is to get rid of long polling, which is the client constantly asking, hey, you got anything new for me? Hey, you got anything new for me? And most of the time the server's like, no, leave me alone. So instead, you want the server to be able to push data to your client. This is a feature of Cloud Firestore that we all love. But
I was going to say, actually, that feature of being able to have a connection open for longer than just the request alone, which is what we're talking about when we talk about WebSockets, that only recently came to Cloud Run. So it's only about a year maybe ago. I said it's recent. It sounds about right. Yeah, March last year I think it was.
Yeah, so Cloud Run is the ultimate runtime that we're hoping to target when we deploy this backend for distributed counter app. We'll just be doing localhost to start. But yes, it's true. It was a recent addition that Cloud Run supported the WebSocket protocol.
And HTTP2 as well. So if you want to do the advanced stuff, then you know where to go.
Well, I've literally never done anything with HTTP2.
It's the same as HTTP1, but better.
Oh, great. So yeah, the headers are like less complicated and stuff, right?
Do you know what? It's the same. Whenever I've been dealing with HTTP2, it's always been you treat it exactly the same as HTTP1, except the way it does the transport is different. So it does.
And you just don't care, but it's better.
It does multiplexing over one connection, meaning that and TLS in the connection itself. So you get higher performance, and especially on mobile, which is where we're at. And a lot of people are probably viewing this talking about mobile apps. The latency on starting a network connection can be quite high, in the order of a few seconds, for the cell tower and your cell phone to power up to its full power and that kind of stuff. And there's a TCP stuff going on. So by having HTTP2 in mobile, it actually means that multiple connections to the server go over that one single connection, as it were.
You only pay that bill. You pay that bill less times.
Yeah, like once for your session of your user connecting with your server on your app, rather than multiple times.
Yeah. Nice. Well, we're not going to use any of that in this thing, but interesting nonetheless.
There might be many sort of rabbit holes we're going to go.
Right.
Hopefully not too many.
So what we were talking about is the server side receiving an event from one of the clients and then figuring out how many connected devices care about this so that it can push that information, as opposed to all the clients constantly asking. But this gets really complicated if you expect to have more than a couple of users, because you're probably going to scale up your runtime nodes, right? That's what Cloud Run does. So a single topic that is of interest to various clients, those clients will ultimately be spread across different Cloud Run workers, and you won't be able to predict where they are. So you have a kind of central fan out problem where an event arrives at one node in your Cloud Run or whatever you're using, and you want to be able to push information to all the connected clients, but some of them that care are connected on different Cloud Run nodes, and that's part of what we're going to solve.
A simple way I can think of explaining this: imagine you've got like 5 users with 5 mobile phones, and then connected to this laptop. That's the server, let's say. Then this laptop comes online to serve the requests. Suddenly, those don't know about the new user that connect to this one.
Yes. Yeah. So you can have an in-memory map over here, completely unhelpful. So this is part of what we're going to get to. But shall we start?
Yeah.
All right. So I've got an empty directory here, and Simon is dialed in via VS Code live share, which served us well in past episodes. So
I'm not familiar with VS Code. I prefer the IntelliJ. So this is going to be an experience.
Yeah, we're doing it live. Okay, so let's start with Flutter create. We're in. What do we want to? Maybe what do we call it? App, mobile?
Yeah, app, mobile.
App. The one downside is if you do this in all your projects, then all of your windows in your IDEs just say app.
Do I have a tendency to name my web package app because it means I can copy and paste code and the package stays the same?
Savvy. Now for VS Code to have correct IntelliSense and whatnot, I'll actually need to open a new window in that directory because you have to open it at the root where the pubspec.yaml is.
Will that share with me? That's a question.
Nope, we've outsmarted ourselves already. So, well, if you want to type, then we'll fire it up real quick. But for now, we're going to go to main.dart, and let's get rid of all the things, regular expression, and then the new line, and we'll replace that with nothing. Replace all, save for the reformat.
I do that every single time I start.
Yep, it is the way. All right, so what we're replacing from the beginning is, first of all, the counter is not even going to be stored. It's not, the source of truth is no longer going to be in the app. It's going to be on a server somewhere. So the first thing that we want to do is have a WebSocket connection, right? And we're just going to push an increment command onto that WebSocket.
Sounds good.
Right? All right, let's begin. So, my finger lifted off the shift key. So we need init state. Oh, I can probably use a snippet for the whole thing, huh? Hey, much better. So now,
do you want your code underneath the super?
What's that?
Don't worry. Carry on.
Oh, should it be first? I always put it at the end.
On a init should be first. On dispose it should be last.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
If anyone wants to know what the reason for that is because if your superclass, in this case, obviously it's a stateless widget, the state doesn't make use of these, so it doesn't make that much sense. But if you
we are stateful here.
if you inherit from another state, let's say, or something like that, you might need to initialize something before you. So you might depend on like a stream in the superclass, for example. So it's always good practice.
Yeah, so all it does in the raw
it does nothing. Yeah,
is assert.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any difference in this case, but good practice.
Yep. Okay, so we're already ready to create a new WebSocket and push some data onto it. So should we use what was the library?
I was going to say, so there's a client library for WebSockets. I'm going to go look it up right now because I don't remember it. I'm just going to search.
I'll look it up here as well so that we get. Oh, there was a graphic for WebSockets we skipped. WebSocket Dart, and work with WebSockets right on Flutter.dev. Yes, there. This is what we want. So let's. Oh, and then we need the WebSocket channel.
WebSocket channel. Yeah, that's the one.
So pubspec. Add a package, WebSocket channel. Do you love me? It does. That's it. Great. WebSocket channel. Okay, so we can copy this code. We'll also need to import, but I think the IDE will help us with that. So we'll create our WebSocket here. And yes, I know you don't know who this is. Meet WebSocket channel.
So we're going to have to connect to localhost.
Localhost, yes.
And it's going to have to be WS, I believe, because the WSS is the SSL variant, and we won't have a local certificate yet.
We sure won't. Now, to run until we get to the Cloud Run phase, which will be at the end, we're going to run this locally.
Probably on a different port. Like
yeah.
8080 or something.
Yeah.
So just while you're doing that, the port numbers don't make a difference. There's actually 65,000 ports in every IP address, but 8080 is quite a common one for local servers.
Yep. Yeah, kind of the whole 8,000 block.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a channel. Now let's go back to the documentation. We're not listening for messages from the server yet, though we sure will be. Scrolling down, we are here just going to be sending data to the server. So I'm going to copy this code and we'll head back. Now down here we should have an error because I got rid of increment counter. So this we can just call send increment command maybe.
Sure.
And we'll make that function void.
It's always good to pull out the your logic, so not having the functions in line with your layout, just so that you can move your layout around without having to deal with moving the functions around as well. Obviously, in our ideal scenario, we'd probably pull out all the logic from the widget and put that in some backend static class in the backend that we can test independently of the UI.
Yeah, I don't know how testable the code that we're going to write today will be.
We'll see how far we get.
Those abstractions, yeah, those abstractions take time.
I think we'll probably want to add a dispose and to close the channel, which I think is just channel sync close.
You're right. Channel, let's sync. Oh, and then we might need to do this. Well, we didn't make it nullable, just
it's late, right? Okay. Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah. And then does close have a parameter?
I don't think so. It's just the stream. So, all right. So our increment command. Should we just send the word increment?
Sure. Do we actually? Does add take any sort of number of? Do you know what? I don't know. Should we have a look at to see what add? So it takes any data, any T.
Yeah.
So it'll probably take a map and convert it to like a JSON blob and deserialize it at the other end if we're.
Oh, if we get that sophisticated.
Yeah, if we want to have like, so what you might want to do, obviously it's one channel.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably want to have, this is for the audience, if you have one channel, then you probably want to have like a type or action, something that indicates what this data is for. And then when the server receives it, you can say, okay, if it's type increment, then how much to increment by? Look at a field called data, and that has like 5, and so it increments by 5.
Right.
Or adds 5.
Yeah. So, and then I would still probably send that you know, you can JSON serialize that, still send it as a string.
I'm kind of curious what it actually does, so we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, I think it's going to show up on the other end.
So that'll show up as a string, probably.
Exactly.
Nice and simple.
Yep.
So if I'll just mention briefly, so WebSockets actually have. Do you have that diagram?
Oh yeah, we'll show it. We'll actually get around to it.
So
what is this?
it's
Who wants this?
It's
what
yeah.
What a nightmare.
I mean, right click show image or something. That one.
Oh, good call.
Open image in new tab.
Yeah, love it.
Right. Now you get to make it bigger. Right. So I don't know if that's actually that helpful. It's not actually that helpful.
Yeah, it just kind of shows that you
the
connection stays alive.
That's for not researching enough beforehand. Anyway, so I will briefly mention, if you go look up WebSockets, what you'll find is the way they work, it does a normal HTTP request. That's how it opens up the connection. And then it does, I think it's 101 upgrade, which is like a HTTP command.
But is that only in the browser?
No.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Oh,
so it does that, and that tells the other end to disconnect the HTTP library and to hand it as a raw socket, basically, to your whatever library. And then when you upgrade, you specify, there's all under the hood, it's done for us with all these libraries.
Yep, we're not going to write any of this.
We're not going to write any of that, but it has like an encoding, and by default it sends raw data, and there's one like string encoder, and there's one like zip encoder, and all these other fun things, which will compress the data as you send it. With these libraries, the default's just fine. It'll work just fine. Optimize later. Don't optimize up front.
Yes, yes. All right, so we're kind of ready, I think, to already leave our Flutter app for a moment and switch over to our server code. Do you agree?
Sure.
All right.
Let's do that.
Also, we don't really have it. No, we do have it kind of set up for you to drive if you'd like to take a turn, especially because the share is on the
the Dart stuff. Oh, okay.
Right, but you don't have to.
And we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. Does that?
All right, so I will switch back over. So I'm in the app that you are shared to.
That's working. All right,
yeah, so you're driving the terminal.
What direction are we in? Are we in the Dart?
Full stack Dart. Yeah.
It's not coming through the same one here. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. So we want to Dart create Dart.
Oh, this is really slick.
I wonder if that's. I just want to see if there's a. Oh no, that didn't come through on mine.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, server shelf.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Ooh, hello.
Let's go.
Should we try that?
Yeah.
First time. Let's see. It's a dash
T.
And then server dash shelf.
Yep. All right. So
directory exists. Use false. Oh my god, really? Okay. Cool.
Well, that was an interesting. Oh, I think because now we have all of our server-side stuff top level, but we nested app.
That's fine. As long as we're not. So when we I don't actually see it here. So there's actually a Docker ignore. Also git in your git ignore.
Docker ignore.
Oh, see, already here. So we can actually add app to that. The reason for doing that is we'll get to this, when we deploy with Docker, we don't want it to ship the source code of the app as in the deployed container.
Yeah. But doesn't this all kind of feel like we should have another folder that says like server?
Do you want me to do that?
I think it'd be nice.
We're gonna have to untangle this now. Let's find out.
Well, you know, it really didn't take that long to run the Dart create.
All right. Let's give it a go. Right, where are we?
It's an efficient tool, really.
I can't access the command line.
Oh, all right. Let me.
Do you have to be?
Let me delete all the things. So we'll go to development.
Do you have to be on the terminal? Have you closed the? Can you just go to the terminal tab?
You can't do it?
No, nothing. It's died.
What was this called? Dart. Full stack Dart. Here we go.
Should I press kill terminal? Let's see what happens.
It did die on me a few times last time as well. But
It's
it's okay. I rolled back your terrible mistake.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. No, wait. The Dart tool thing is still there. So remove Dart tool. Okay. Why is it still there? Don't know what to say.
Okay, I think that's still working. Why does it say you're there?
I don't know. I deleted a bunch of things, so we may have completely confused it.
This is not going well.
All right, I'll write the same command. While
Access shared terminal. There we go.
All right, so now we're not going to call it
the command palette win. Go.
We're not going to call it dot. We're going to call it server.
We're very creative in our naming.
So much better.
We could do those code names, right? Like Jupiter or like.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The server's called Pluto.
I was going to say Pluto too.
It's not a planet anymore, though.
I know.
I know.
Pour one out.
We're too old.
Okay.
Go for it.
Next up, real things. So, where do we want to start on
I'm
the
going
server
to go look
side?
at this. I have not seen what this builds, so.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull that up
It's
too.
not. Do you have to follow me? If you do command palette, does it?
Oh, how do I do it?
Here. Click on this down here, and I think there's follow participant or something.
Okay. Ooh. Oh, where do you see this? Is it this one?
The one that says live share in the bottom.
Focus participants. Follow.
Try it.
Oh,
request others. Following Craig. No, it's me following you.
That's not what I
But
wanted.
he's got me selected though, so that's nice.
So scroll down, and do I scroll?
No.
So it's not doing it.
What's that one there? The red one.
Yeah, that's what I tried first, but
Type follow. See if it...
nope. All right, we'll do it. We'll do it manually.
All right. Well, fun times. Right. So what do we actually have here? What has it made for us? Okay, so we've got a main. Oh, I'm following you now, and I can't.
Amazing. I think if you just start doing stuff, it should break.
I just tried that.
Follow. You know the options. He's looking at the follow options.
It's not
limited.
helpful. This is not going so well.
All right. Well, so look at this for a second here, and let's see. Like you said, we've got the main method, which and
apparently
you ripped me away. Oh, I am following you now, though.
Are you?
You did it.
Oh, okay. I clicked on your name and it somehow did that. So
great.
Right. Okay. So let's see. So the main function is set up to listen on any IPv4, which is a special address, as it says here, usually 000. And what that means is it listens on all interfaces. So if you've got Wi-Fi, it will be listening on your Wi-Fi IP address. It will also be listening on your local host IP address. Also, if you've got a plugged-in LAN, it will be listening on that IP address. So it's just a nice way when you're developing to do that. And to be honest, when you deploy it, it'll be listening on the nodes, all the nodes interfaces, which will be one. So it's perfectly fine to leave this in there.
Yeah, and Cloud Run will be the one responsible for making sure that no other shenanigans can happen, that your app isn't accessed by some kind of spoofing mechanism.
I don't know what the format command is. Format document, Alt-Shift.
Is it not?
Yeah, there we go. No, Alt-Shift.
Oh, I guess it wasn't.
So it's a little tip for anyone that's watching. You can put
you
can force a line break and a wrapping by adding the line comment there.
Yeah, that is nice, and I always forget about it.
So this is actually log request actually built in, and I can't apparently.
That's
open
from
it.
Shelf, right?
That's from Shelf, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
I think it just prints.
So it prints out all the requests as they come in, and it gives you, I think, information on the response, like how long it took to do the respond and so on. There's actually a library on pub.dev called logging, which is also done by the tools dart.dev publication. What's called publication, whatever. And that gives you the ability to do some more sort of hierarchical logging, which means that, you know, if you've got like SQL and you want to like log that in like a very fine logging, you can turn that on for a session but turn it off without having to remove all your login statements and so on, and it doesn't use up lots of processing power to do the kind of logging. So it's fine. Right, and then we've got this. So actually, where's that? Do you have the cloud? There's the Cloud Run container.
Oh, the port that it uses?
No, the what's that documentation? Cloud Run. Hang on, let me see if I can send you.
Yeah, I could help you Google it, but I don't know what your sentence is.
The Cloud Run environment stuff.
Oh yeah, so it's just port.
Yeah.
And it.
I was just trying to say that there's actually documentation of this.
So I would need to Google this as well.
Yeah.
You just search Cloud Run.
This is not the page I was looking for. Oh, it'd be the time. So there's the one time you want to find it and you can't find it.
Oh, I'm not on the right one either. Well, anyway, what information are you looking for?
So basically, when you start your Cloud Run, in fact, do you want to jump over to since we're doing the server, let's go to console.cloud.google.com. I say that way too many times.
It auto completed and then it went away. How dare it? Google Cloud, Google. Okay.
Should have the project.
Oh, wrong window.
Ah, there you go.
Here we are.
So
Which,
in here, if you go to Cloud Run,
yes.
yes.
I was going to create a thing earlier, but it wanted us to already have a Docker container, and we don't.
Okay, so let's. Why don't we? So what's this? Let's have a look at this code quickly and just see what it does. So the point is that it listens on this environment called port, and this allows. If you notice, the default value is 8080, which is quite nice. That's what we chose. It means it's going to listen on that port if you don't have an environment variable. That's every process when it begins, it gets given a set of variables called environment variables, and these are set externally. And the Cloud Run interface actually lets you override these, so you can change what port, or you can pass. Let's say you need to access some
Like secrets,
yeah. So we call
sensitive data.
sensitive data. So let's say you need to access some cloud APIs and it needs to have a API key. You would ship that in your environment variables as API key, and then you can access that very similarly, like platform.environment, and then specify API key as string, and then you'll sort of get that back out. And
you can set those very easily in the Cloud Run console. But we're I think this is pretty on target.
This is an echo. It says hello world. This is so we could quickly run through this. So serves a handler. And in this case, this handler is a pipeline, and that adds the middleware for logging the requests, followed by a handler of a router. So this should have.
I think it's in this file.
I'm just going to just see this. Yeah, so it's added shelf router, which is another package which lets you do this. So router get on this slash, use this root handler. Now this can be inline, obviously not good programming, but this just gives you an example. So when we go to the root, once we deployed this, we should see hello world, and we'll say hello world. Should we say hello boring show?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, it's just amazing. If I can spell. Right. And then if we do the echo and then specify a message, that's any text on the URL, it should echo that back to us. Not a good thing to put into live code, because that's how you get exploits. But it's good for an example. Make sure it's going back and forth and working. So I think that's actually ready to deploy.
Should we build and deploy? Yeah. Okay.
So something that did it make this for us, or did we already have a Docker script?
No, this came in.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
So someone we both know, Tony, what's his last name? Tony
Pools.
I'm not going to say that. Tony, he, I'm going to butcher it. It's fine. Tony worked on the functions framework and also came up with this idea of doing scratch builds. So it's quite nice. So this is what you call a two-stage Dockerfile. So the first stage is this, and then the second stage is the next from section here. So what this means is it will check out the Dart stable from Docker Hub, the Docker registry, and call it build. And then it will set up the working directory and copy everything copy the pub spec into that directory, and then run pub get, and it'll copy all the contents of your repository or source code. That's not Docker ignored. That's why we have the Docker ignore. And then it will run dart compile executable bin server, which is our opening entry point, and output as bin server. Now that will be a binary compiled version of your server. The nice thing about this is that will include the entire Dart environment, anything else that needs to make it work. It's about 4 meg, I think, 4 to 8 meg, something like that. So you get these really small deployments.
Very small.
Now, at the moment, this image that it creates in the first step will contain the entirety of like the environment to compile and to have pub in there and all the rest of the stuff. You don't need that in your deployment. You don't want Dart shipped in your deployment. You only want your binary file. So that's why the next step is from scratch. And this is where we say copy from build, and build is the alias that we gave at the top here. And then that's saying copy the runtime folder over, copy the runtime directory over, and then copy app bin server over to app bin. So that,
which of course keeps it in the server folder.
So we don't actually have a
file.
We don't actually have a runtime folder there. So I'm going to assume that this is just if you wanted any files available at runtime, you put them in this directory. So this is quite
like
nice.
Static, maybe?
Yeah. So we can make like a public folder in runtime and then host files from that, for example. And then and then this is the command that tells Docker to port forward or open the port inside the container. Have we explained anything about Docker?
I don't think we should go too deep into Docker.
Well, I will briefly mention we say container and Docker, and they're kind of synonymous. So basically, Docker is a scripting tool and series of commands and applets to build containers, and containers are like self-deployed, sort of self-contained, hence the name. self-contained.
We have to deploy them.
So that you can just deploy all your files and everything. So it's almost like a zip file, if you will, but it's a bit more complicated than that. In that it exposes these things down here, like what port you want to forward inside your container to outside. And this is because the containers are like the mobile phone apps are in a sandbox. Each container is in its own sandbox. And then this command at the bottom is what command it's going to run when it starts up. So
which is our app.
Which is our app. So this is all done for us. This is great. Do you want to try running Docker build?
Yeah. So let me give myself a little more space here. Docker build, and it will just automatically point to the Docker file.
Should we run it locally? There's this Dart run. Then we'll host.
Sure.
Then we can host it locally and just see if it works in the browser.
Oh, I have to go into CD server.
Oh yeah.
And I outsmarted myself. Dart run, bin server, and
listening. Okay.
I do want to allow that. Would you like to allow your app to work? Yes, I would. 8080. Hey!
It's amazing. It works.
And
we did nothing, and it works.
It was
Echo.
Oh, Echo. Okay. Echo. ASDF. Aha.
It's amazing. So
great performance.
I know, right? I mean, like,
incredible.
So okay,
right.
And then it actually tells us in here that if you've got Docker Desktop installed, Docker build -t my server.
Oh, I love this documentation.
So I guess
so you have the read.
-t is the tag.
Open for me.
So
but, we're reading from here right now.
Yep.
So yeah, the name of the image that we're building. So
yeah,
Docker build this container into an image, point to the current Docker file, and give it the tag.
Yeah. So when you're building containers, it works a bit like GitHub in terms of that you have these hashes. We see them on screen here of layers of the file system. And each one will have its own tag and so on. And we want to say, once you get to the end, tag it as, did you say my server?
Yep, we're just sticking with the...
That's fine, sticking with the documentation.
Yep.
That's what it's there for. And that will mean that when we try to locate it later, we use the my server name, and it knows that that's that specific hash. So think of it like a branch on a repo.
Uh-oh. Oh, Dart SDK version. Oh, okay.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
No,
It
failed.
No, but if you go to the
we have to fix it.
pub spec.
Yeah, server pub spec.
Yeah, server pub spec.
One. Yeah, we'll just say 17.
Yeah, and then get rid of the rest.
Okay. Try again. Thank you for hijacking where I'm looking. Once more with feeling. Now, one kind of funny, or not funny, but cool thing, building on what Simon was just talking about, because Docker is layered, it started at step 7. So it got through however far before it errored on the Dart versioning boo-boo, and it kept its work from the 6 successful steps.
So each one of those steps in the Docker file is a different gets a different commit hash once it's finished. So that way it's only the command that fails that it continues from, which is really handy. It does obviously mean that if you change an earlier command, then it has to re-go through everything, because the previous one, the latest command depends on the previous.
Oh, image I probably need to do, huh? So 11 megs.
10,
pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Would have been a lot builder without a lot bigger without the 2-step Docker file. So that is that's a very nice touch.
And then apparently we can run this locally. So we should give that a go.
Yep. Switch back as well so folks can read. I don't know why the sync, it just breaks at any time. So run interactively, and we'll give it the port forwarding.
So I means interactive, T means terminal, I think, remember, rightly. And then P is the port forward.
Actually, why do we need the terminal for this?
This is so that you can press Control-C here. If you don't have...
Oh.
Is it? I forget. Read the help. Read the manual.
All right, so we're still running at localhost 8080. So we've killed the old Dart run that we were doing, but we should just get the same behavior now, but it's running through Docker. And it works.
Should we type something else? Let's make sure.
Yeah. Hello, Docker.
Yeah. Oh, and then if you go back to the Docker container.
Oh, right. We'll get the logs.
There's the logs.
Aha.
Cool. So that's definitely working. Okay.
That's amazing.
Now we need to deploy it to Cloud Run.
Okay. Do you want to be on lookup that documentation? Commands, Control
I think
C's?
I think I have the command handy. If you bear with me 1 second.
Oh, I love that.
It's been a while, but
I'm in. Control C is still not working. Normally you pass like what, Command D to daemonize it for that or something, but
oh yeah, yeah.
control...
We didn't add a Control C handler, so.
Do you think if I continue to press Control C, it'll start working?
Try Z or X, Control Z or Control X.
No.
No. All right. So just open up a new tab and
yeah, we'll kill the thing over there.
Will that kill the terminal?
No, but we can just stop the container probably. Docker.
Yeah, RM
container.
You can do RM dash F, RM dash F for force remove.
And then my
server, yeah.
server.
Assuming that's what we named it.
Well, so it might be.
No, if you do Docker PS.
Yeah, A or something.
And so it's giving it a fancy name.
Yeah, it's Upbeat Brown.
So if you don't specify a name when you run the Docker command, which we didn't, it makes up a nice little name for each different container. Obviously, you can specify the same name as your image, keeps things simple. There's also.
But we didn't do that.
When you run it with a -IT, you can also run it with dash RM or -RM, and it will remove the Docker container once it closes. So you don't have to keep sort of removing; it will just do automatically. So hopefully, if I can see it, it's.
I think it was up, right? Or are we not?
So yeah, if you do, so do you have
gcloud? We're gonna be sure do.
So we're gonna have to set gcloud up for the project.
Oh, apparently sure don't. What?
We'll be back in 5 minutes.
This is very surprising. Install gcloud Mac. How is this even remotely possible? I gcloud things all the time.
Isn't there like, can you do like brew install or something?
Maybe.
Follow the Google instructions. I'm sure it'll work.
Yeah, so extract.
And then run install.sh.
Yeah. This feels surprising.
Do you have Python?
If I don't have Python on this
machine, this is gonna be a break.
Like I am a Python dev originally, so if I don't have that, then holy smokes! All right, so let's put this in documents, and in documents. Oh no, I wanted to put it in development. Where did that just go? Into development, and in development, we will see it here, and now we'll run it from the terminal.
It might be worth mentioning that, yeah. So you need gcloud installed to do anything remotely nice with GCP. You can use all the online tools inside the web interface. However, it does take some time to find the right checkboxes and the right things to click on. And a lot of the time, if you look at the Google documentation for doing any of the Google Cloud stuff, it has a tab. It has a tab for gcloud, and you can just instantly run those commands, and it will boot up servers and run things. So.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. And yeah, the gcloud command is built in Python, so that's why it's mentioned Python. You need Python installed.
Maybe we need a new terminal.
Did it add it to the?
Yeah, I think it did. So yeah, just new terminal.
So that was,
right.
By the way, that was just because it modifies the environment variables, and it's only when a process starts,
initialization, yes,
it gets given the new environment variables.
So now we'll go into the development folder, and we called this. I think this was in my Flutter DevRel folder, and then
you could run it from here.
Also, the great president.
If you restart the terminal, it should get the new environment.
How do you always do that? Do you just run your shell?
I just type exit and create a new terminal.
Oh, that's wasteful.
Hey, there you go.
All right, gcloud reading off Simon's screen. Run deploy API server, and
so this would be my server in your case.
Oh, I thought that would be the name of the. That's the name of the image. That's the name of the Cloud Run service.
You
right?
can call it API server. Yeah, sure.
So
go for it.
Yeah,
my server, API server, doesn't matter.
API server,
and then allow unauthenticated. So this allows the network connections not to be from just inside your GCP virtual network. It can be coming from external. It's a nice little quick shortcut. And then we specified source dot, which means the current directory. So assuming we're in the server directory, this is going to work.
Oh, I'm totally not in the server directory. No, I think I am.
Well, was it?
Well, it's unclear.
I think you're in your home directory.
Well, this says server.
And that's
I think it's the directory and the command that's being run right now. So it might work.
we'll find out. If not, it's just going to error and we'll change
CD
directory.
server.
But this is doing the post installation of just installing the beta command set and a few others. I believe the deploy command is actually going to make its way out of beta very soon. It's been a beta for quite some time. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so
we're reporting live from London right now. So
no, this needs to be the region that you have your project in.
I don't know if I don't remember picking one.
Okay, so do this. Control C. Hopefully it works. Right, gcloud init, and then you need if you're leaning that close, you need your font bigger.
It's not even. What are you, my dad?
That's why I've got glasses. I've got square eyes.
So I need to change my ID as well. This is my work ID, but I made this project in my personal.
If you do that again, it should allow you to do new configuration or reinitialize.
But I think I'm going to need to authenticate.
Oh, login. Yeah, if you Control C, it's gcloud login, I think, or gcloud auth. I forget.
Auth login. I might need to log out first, or maybe it'll just. Oh, there we go. Great. So I'll take this URL and put it over here. And log in as myself.
And that will, once you approve that, it should make the CLI open up.
Yep. There we go. Okay, now we'll set the project ID, which is found.
You can do if you do gcloud init.
Oh, it'll just do everything.
Yeah, it gives you prompts you for the so on and so forth.
All right, we're ourselves. That's very good.
Create new configuration.
That's what we want. All right, well, let's make this a little bigger.
Give it a name to server. Myself.
I've lost. I can't even see where the thing is here. Oh, I screwed it up. I zoomed in and we lost everything.
So,
all right, 2. There we go. Server, is that what we're calling it?
This is just your local configuration, so that if you don't have to relog in and you don't have to like choose the same project again and all that kind of stuff. So
we want
full stack .5.
Good eye. Configure
your default. Yep.
Yeah.
And now
there we go. I remember seeing this a minute ago.
So we haven't initialized the Google Cloud project with Compute Engine. You would probably want to choose the same region.
Why don't we pick?
I will mention
this
for those
Europe one.
For those that have just seen Google I/O, the new Alloy DB is only in Europe West 2, I think. Don't quote me on that. If you go look at the information at Alloy DB, it'll highlight that. You'll only be able to use Cloud Run with Alloy DB and a few of the other new fancy, like I think it's Cloud Jobs or Tasks or whatever the new thing is. And they're only in certain regions right now, so make sure you choose the right region. You'd be really confused why it's not working.
Do we think that we're ready to run this now?
Go for it. Now choose the same region.
Okay. Presumably it'll be 14 again. It isn't. Oh, lordy.
Which one did you choose? There's no 14.
Did it? Oh, no. Well, there is a 14, but it's not the same one.
If you go back, it's fine.
What do you mean by go back?
Just press Command C.
Yep. Is there a way to see what we did?
Just do gcloud in it.
Oh,
and then I think you can do.
Oh, is it going to tell us? Oh, here we go.
West 4.
4A.
So just West 4.
I see. Oh, no, not this again. One day. All right.
Europe West 4.
Europe West 4. So this time 18. It's 18.
Yeah. So the numbers are just like to index them on the screen, so you can choose the right one.
Oh, right.
So it doesn't. So what it says here, it's actually quite handy. You do gcloud config set, and then it will mean that you don't ever get asked the same what region you want to run in unless you do that again. So this kind of sets it on that initial configuration. So
okay, so I'll copy this command.
Copy it, and we can run that in a minute.
And we are going to set up this thing.
So this is going to enable. So the artifact registry, which we'll actually need to configure probably in a minute, is Google's registry for containers. So that holds all those different layers we're talking about in the Docker container. So we're enabling the API in the Google Cloud project. Once that's enabled, we'll be able to run the Docker commands and deploy to that container registry. So the nice thing is the beta deploy command that we're running right now uses the cloud build system to actually, so it chucks all the stuff in your local directory, uploads it to the build server, runs Docker, that same Docker command we just ran earlier, on the build server, and then deploys the resulting container to the container registry. Then it also magically links up that container reference to the Cloud Run, and then it will deploy it for you. So it's like one command that does all these steps.
Amazing things, yeah.
You can do them individually, and you can script them. You can CI and CD to your heart's content and all this kind of stuff. So,
oh, it's waiting for us.
Yes.
Can the cursor be in there?
I don't think it has.
cursor is very confused, but it's going again.
So it'll probably ask us for a few more there. Oh, would you like to enabling service?
Yeah,
Not enabled. Would you like to?
Yeah, we need it.
Oh, cloud build. Yeah. So this is the cloud build thing I was just talking about.
Why? The cursor is so messed up. It won't
It's right.
listen to commands. So this time it was 18.
Do
Right?
you want to try?
18.
Good. You could have run that command.
See, it's like it's typing the A all the way over here, or the Y. It's typing it all the way over here.
It's because you're using Python 3.7 instead of 2.8.
2.8?
Isn't it 2.8? Like
2.7.
2.7? And then we go on 2.8 now, aren't they? I don't know.
2.8 is in an alternate timeline.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there were some big changes in Python between those two versions, and not all compatibility things are fixed. So I'm just guessing that's the problem. I have no idea.
Well, I think it kind of just looks like terminal.
It could just be the
buffering.
It could also
like
be the
output.
fact that we've got a terminal and VS Code, and VS Code is doing its own magical thing.
Yeah. All right, so this is running, and I think we can potentially now return to the Docker or the server.dart file.
Yep.
And let's start making it happen.
So, shall I jump in on the server file? Yep, you got me there. Cool.
Yep.
All right.
So I'm not following you magically, but I'll follow you manually.
So we're going to need the So what we put into the app was the WebSocket channel, and there is a package. So if you go to pub.dev and search,
it's
shelf
socket, right?
shelf WebSocket, I think it is. Try it. I think there's.
The funny thing is, raw Google is a better search engine than Pub's own search. So we want this. Copy.
Go put in.
Pub spec. Pub server.
Excellent.
Yeah, right. Cursor shenanigans. Save. It'll automatically run dart pub get.
Solving problem. 215.
Back.
Hang on. Go back.
Yeah. It thinks that for me. It's not correct. I have some old artifact here. I always have to fix this. So we're gonna just have to do it from the terminal. That'll work.
Oh, it's because your environment for VS Code is set up to run a different Dart version or something.
But I cannot, for the life of me, figure out why. But we'll run dart pub get, and that'll work.
So right. So in server.dart, we should be able to set up a upgrade handler. This is.
Oh, we don't. Let's look at the shelf WebSocket README, which I guess I can also do. Yeah, so it does all of that for us. And I'm not actually 100% sure how we would wire this into the router. It may be trivial, but we can also potentially just drop it.
I think it's just a handler, and then it works out. But it might be that there's an upgrade.
I have it right here also if you want to look over. So I think we should ditch most of the code in the main method and drop in this code instead.
So this has got WebSocket. Why has this got WebSocket channel?
That is a.
Oh, because is this client?
It's not strictly necessary, but it is where you get the type hint for the WebSocket variable.
Right.
So it's a little disjointed, but
let's add this. Hang on.
So I feel like basically that we want this to be our starting point. Yes. This snippet.
So if you jump back for a second, what we can do is we should be able to just add another handler. We'll just add get and say so this has to match the path that we'll put into the Flutter app.
Yep.
We haven't added a path yet. We could obviously just override the root handler, but for
WS.
It might get messy. So we'll add what? WS for WebSocket, or do you think?
I think WS, yeah.
WS,
Yep.
okay. And then WebSocket handler. And then what we'll probably do is have to import that. So it's a global, there we go, nice and simple. So this is a global function. I can't go to it.
Oh. Yeah, I think even looking at this is probably.
Yeah, but I just want to see. So this is the bit that actually does like the upgrade. And
we pass it a fallback.
All this kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, it all happens even in this class actually.
So
before it eventually gets around to calling the onConnection function that we pass.
Yeah.
So back to server.dart, we're ready to paste some of that code from the README.
So we should be able to grab this.
He's copying from the README and pasting. Oh.
Let's hang on one cut and pick a minute. Right. What does this?
You're going off script. I think we're deviating heavily right now from the.
I have probably copied the wrong thing here. No, that's the right thing. Let me just do this.
WebSocket handler. Oh, I see. You're following the convention of the underscore handler. Okay.
I know it doesn't have to have an underscore, but so this should be.
Okay, very nice.
I have a bracket missing.
I think we just need a yes. There you go. Nice.
Nice.
All right. So we set up. We're using the function or the class or function or something from. Yeah, it's a function from shelf WebSocket, passing it our function. Our function also though just does what we got out of the README.
So this just takes the WebSocket as the input, which we don't have a type on at the moment.
WebSocket channel is what we're looking for, and that will come from the WebSocket channel package.
You have to auto
WebSocket channel. Oh no, I did it right. Okay.
It's because it's an interdependent. We don't have it in our pub spec. It's just a limp warning.
Okay, we'll worry about it later.
Yeah, so basically we get this WebSocket channel, and basically what we're doing here is we're saying we want to listen on the incoming streams, and when we get a message, in this case dynamic, because as we said earlier, it can be a string, a map, whatever the primitive objects are that we want to send over, and then in the response we get the sync, which is how we send data back on this connection, and that's when we hit add echo. And then obviously if we wanted to be really like, you know, let's say the person finishes, you can then close the channel. I think it's shut down or something. I don't know.
Sync.close?
I forget. It might be when do you know what? It might be when yeah, it might be sync. Yeah, it's probably it's sync.close. Yeah, you're right. There we go. And you can give a closed region as well. Yeah. So if we do this, the connection will not be sustained. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave it off for now. This will keep the connection open. It's waiting for the client to close the connection. So if you do .run, so it was.
Okay, ready. Oh, I did kill the container.
If you let's run it without Docker.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be running on localhost. So now if you go to the other project,
WebSocket, right?
Well, that won't do anything on the browser because it won't upgrade.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, what do you mean by the other project? Oh, Flutter.
Flutter.
Yeah. Right. So that was. Where do I have that? Here.
So we now add /ws.
Okay.
So that WS at the end is the path that we're listening to on the server.
So if we run this in build and click the button, it will send increment, and then we expect to see.
We need to get that response.
We'll need a listener.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what actually will be time. So we can say channel.get or sync .get stream.
It won't be. No, it won't be sync. I think it's just channel.stream, isn't it? I don't know.
No, there's like a get stream somewhere. No, it knows the type.
Channel.stream. Just try that.
Well, there's it's definitely here. Listen. Channel.stream. Boy, are you right. Why is that? I never actually typed it. I kept typing get stream.
It's fine. Right.
Okay, so listen. And this
is real programming, people. You have to read the docs. You have to go back and forth. Literally.
Yeah, so it's just a dynamic type. So
yeah.
Data. We can just give it the print function probably. That might be the type system might not love us. Oh, it just doesn't want us to use the print method.
No, it's fine. It's because you should be using debug print.
Oh, I've never used debug print. Is it this?
It's the same. Basically, this is actually good practice. So debug print is like a function alias, and it means that it's capital P.
But I didn't know that either.
You need to import it probably. It wants a string, so you need to like wrap it.
Yeah. Not doing it.
So it's good practice to use debug print because when you release your code in production, it will make that null, so it doesn't actually like send the print statements out to your Android logs or your iOS logs, so you don't expose those critical things like keys and everything to the public, as it were. So, are we going to run this in the web? Is what we're running this in?
macOS.
Oh, nice. Forgot we got desktop.
I've been primarily, I mean, web is just as good for stuff like this. I've been primarily using desktop for a long time. It's just so nice.
There is
for local development.
That's a good point, actually. So web does support WebSockets. So this is universal. So the Dart implementation we're using now will work on desktop, but the web one we use the WebSockets built into the browser. And I think there's a slightly different import, or the way you deal with that, I forget. But
Not gonna lie, I don't know.
if you're dealing with the web, you'll probably have to do a little jiggery pokery to get it to work. That's the technical term.
Yep. So it's building. We're gonna click. Oh, I wonder how we're doing on time. Feel free, anyone, to give us a signal. We expect to click the button and see echo increment be printed in our nice. Oh, we have to do.
Oh, it's not permission, not permit.
Yeah, so
you need the local network permissions in the iOS app, which I have no idea how you do that. So.
Yeah, I don't know either. We're not gonna do it. Web.
Do we want to deal with the web?
Is it also annoying? All right. So we need to just say Flutter macOS. Is it the whole like enable network requests at all? That whole thing.
It's the entitlement thing that you have to add, isn't it? Yeah.
Network.
It's in their Flutter.dev website, isn't it?
Well, hopefully this takes us to it. Desktop support for Flutter. I mean, I think probably any of these links are going to work. Mac OS. I don't know. This is way more generic. Let's go back. One of these.
Oh, hang on, go forward.
What are you thinking?
Go back to that website. I think I saw.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
I'm hitting forward.
I saw entitlements down here.
Yeah,
setting up. And,
look at that.
And the app sandbox.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is the exact error that we got. Where's the exact thing that I copy and paste? I don't want to think about any of this. Can you read right now?
What have we got? You need to keep that without the command Apple security entitlement. There is network requests will fail, such as this. Okay, so you need to add that entitlement. You need to tell you what you need to do. You need to open up the Mac OS X folder in Xcode.
Yeah. So which thing are we actually grabbing?
That entitlement. You can actually just I think there's like a drop down list you can pick it from.
Oh, great.
Or you just add it to the there's an entitlement section of the plist stuff.
All right. So we're in full stack Dart and
I'm not a Mac user.
And
I'm a PC user. So
Mac
this is interesting.
And this one, I think. So we're down to 5 minutes. Oh, we're still. What are you talking about? I've not used Xcode on here. This is madness.
It's always gonna be like you need like some special, like desktop-y packages or something, probably because like iOS uses one, and I suspect some weird funky thing.
I build this all the time, but I don't normally load it in Xcode. I don't want this. I want the one that I clicked. Oh, it's thinking. All right, if we can get this working, this will be a great place to wrap on this episode, and then we'll continue in the next one. All right, where do we go in this?
Click on the project runner. And we have.
Oh, is it not? It's not in the info.p list. That's not what it is.
Signing capabilities. Think outgoing connection client. Tick the box. Are we done?
Ah,
that's it. I don't think you have to hit save, so you should just be able to run it. It should work.
Very hard. Very, very hard.
I'm just guessing here. It looked like it was the right thing.
I'm willing to hope. Okay. This is exciting.
I think we've done quite bad in time. Oh, here we go.
Built. All the boring show.
It connected.
Click.
Bring this up. Echo increment. There you go.
Woo!
It's amazing.
Right. Incredible. Yeah, and so we'll see. I forget what we're logging currently. We're not logging anything. So we didn't see it over here, but we saw the echo. That's where the echo string came from. We've done it. I think this is a wrap for part 1.
Yep. Folks,
this has been Craig and Simon. Stay tuned. In future episodes, we'll
see where we go.
Make this actually work.
Yeah.
All right. See you, everybody.